day, everyone, and welcome to Vipshop Holdings Limited's second quarter 2024 earnings conference call. At this time, I would like to turn the call to Ms. Jessie Zhang, Vipshop's Head of Investor Relations. Please proceed.
Thank you, Operator. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining Vipshop's second quarter 2024 earnings conference call. With us today are Shen, our co-founder, chairman, and CEO, and Mark Wang, our CFO. Before management begins their prepared remarks, I would like to remind you that the discussion today will contain forward-looking statements made under the safe harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially from our current expectations. Potential risks and uncertainties include, but are not limited to, those outlined in our safe harbor statements in our earnings release and the public filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission, which also applies to this call to the extent any forward-looking statements may be made. Please note that certain financial measures used on this call, such as non-GAAP operating income, non-GAAP net income, and non-GAAP net income per ADS, are not presented in accordance with U.S. GAAP. Please refer to our earnings release for details relating to the reconciliations of our non-GAAP measures to GAAP measures. With that, I would now like to turn the call over to Mr. Shen.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining our second quarter 2024 earnings conference call. In the face of multiple headwinds in the external environment, we had slower momentum in our business. Our team focused on staying agile to respond quickly to external changes and achieving operational excellence. In the second quarter, sales was under pressure of the high base and aimed cautious customer sentiment. Apparel category held up relatively well. GMV generated from core brands and SVIP members showed resilience for the full quarter. We see this as an indication of the fundamental strength of our business. Customer traction remained muted, reflecting our cautious approach to marketing spend aimed at a challenging backdrop. However, active SVIP members increased by 11% from a year ago and accounted for 40% of our online spending. That's encouraging as a hardcore customer cohort with the most resilient spending power continues to recognize the unique value of shopping with us. Given that we are facing ongoing uncertainties in the near term, we focus on the long-term thinking that positions us for continued growth in the years ahead. Even as the patterns of spending evolving, the key factors that determine where customers choose to shop have not changed. We are sharpening our focus on enriching merchandising offering, highlighting affordability throughout our assortment while ensure a worry-free experience. Together, these have been the core competence that has helped us navigate difficult times. Among the business highlights, we are pleased with the steady flow of the quality brands inventory. Thanks to our merchandising capability from a strong team of talents across categories, we now adapt more quickly to emerging trends, which is important to driving growth by delivering what customers look for. In the first half, we selected more than 600 well-known brands to our platform, including a mix of mass brands, new trendy brands, and affordable luxury brands in much richer selections. Our layered approach to brand portfolio is well suited to meet the ever-changing customer needs across income and age cohorts in different regions. We are also encouraged by the steady progress in the Made for VIP line of customized products. In the second quarter, GMV from Made for VIP increased more than 140% from a year ago. Our know-how and expertise in apparel enabled brand partners to customize more differentiated products at great price, which were welcomed by many customers. We see a meaningfully higher portions of customers repeatedly purchase customized products than they do in the general apparel category, and the conversions made for VIP has been consistently higher than the average levels seen within the same brand and the same category. Beyond that, we continue to focus on delivering value, providing the right blend of great pricing and quality to our customers. We consistently optimize the ways we work with brand partners to ensure we could generate more savings for our customers. Recently, we launched some new channels, future time-limited promotions, and everyday low price. These are designed to help our customers make the most of their budget, while also providing reliable resource for brand partners to present their best deals. On the other hand, is enhancing quality control. We have been working hard this year to help customers select a trusted portfolio of brand products by increasing quality inspection throughout our supply chain. In addition, we are adapting and refining our approach to customer engagement. In the second quarter, for SVIP members, we continue with the launch of private sales and special offering, both online and offline. We intend to increase the depth of our loyalty program to serve them uniquely. For young customers, we tailored the layout and design of our homepage, created specialized channels, and made personalized recommendations that better cater to our preferences. In the face of the temporary volatility on the top line, we continue to work on the long-term efficiency through process optimization and technology enhancement across business lines, among other things. For example, we continuously upgrade our merchandise platform to further improve the productivity of our team while serving brand partners. This has motivated brand partners to invest while generating better ROI on technology, AI capabilities, and are increasingly applied to search, recommendation, and intelligence shopping assistant to provide the customer with inspiration and improve conversions. We have a fundamentally solid business model that also inherently flexible, but we have much more work to do, and we are on it so that we can quickly pivot as customer priority changes. As we move ahead, we believe that as long as we stay close to our customers, continue investing in our merchandising capabilities, and consistently execute on the discount retail fundamentally, we will be positioned for continued growth over the long term. At this point, let me hand over the call to our CFO, Mark Wang, to go over our financial results.
Okay, thanks, Eric, and hello, everyone. We delivered another quarter of solid profitability despite ongoing pressure on the top-line growth. As we remain responsive to the evolving environment to weather external challenge, we managed to optimize our operational efficiency and achieve healthy margins. Specifically, consolidated gross margin increased to 23.6% from 22.2% a year ago, thanks to higher margin category mixed from apparel sales and a series of cost-saving measures. Non-GAAP net margin attributable to Vipshop shareholders remained at a high level at 8.1%, reflecting our disciplined approach to managing our business. In the midst of macro and competition dynamics, our goals are to balance growth with profitability and protect the long-term health of our business. While our outlook for the near term has softened, we remain confident in our unique positioning to drive sustainable and profitable growth in the long run. With that, we are committed to returning significant cash to our shareholders. We accelerated our pace of share buyback with over $200 million having been utilized during the second quarter. In addition, a new share repurchase program of up to $1 billion will be in place after we fully utilize the remaining amounts under the existing program. And as we mentioned on our last earnings call, we plan to commit no less than 75% of our full year non-GAAP net income attributable to Vipshop's shareholders through discretionary share repurchase and dividend distributions. Now moving to our detailed quarterly financial highlights. Before I get started, I would like to clarify that all financial numbers presented below are in renminbi, and all the percentage change are year-over-year change, unless otherwise noted. Total net revenues for the second quarter of 2024 were RMB 26.9 billion, compared with RMB 27.9 billion in the prior year period. Gross profits increased by 2.2% year-over-year to RMB 6.3 billion from RMB 6.2 billion in the prior year period. Gross margin increased to 23.6% from 22.2% in the prior year period. Total operating expenses decreased by 4.2% year-over-year to RMB 4.3 billion from RMB 4.5 billion in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, total operating expenses decreased to 16.0% from 16.1% in the prior year period. Fulfillment expenses decreased by 0.8% year-over-year to RMB 2.16 billion from RMB 2.18 billion in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, fulfillment expenses was 8.1%, compared with 7.8% in the prior year period. Marketing expenses decreased by 17.0% year-over-year to RMB 740.7 million from RMB 892.5 million in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, marketing expenses decreased to 2.8% from 3.2% in the prior year period. Technology and content expenses increased by 10.0% year-over-year to RMB 487.2 million from RMB 443.0 million in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, technology and content expenses was 1.8%, compared with 1.6% in the prior period. General administrative expenses decreased by 6.5% year-over-year to RMB 900.7 million from RMB 963.1 million in the prior period. As a percentage of total net revenues, general and administrative expenses decreased to 3.4% from 3.5% in the prior period. Income from operations increased by 16.5% year-over-year to RMB 2.2 billion from RMB 1.9 billion in the prior period. Operating margin increased to 8.3% from 6.9% in the prior period. Non-GAAP income from operations increased by 11.6% year-over-year to RMB 2.6 billion from RMB 2.3 billion in the prior period. Non-GAAP operating margin increased to 9.5% from 8.2% in the prior period. Net income attributable to Vipshop's shareholders was RMB 1.9 billion, compared with RMB 2.1 billion in the prior period. Net margin attributable to Vipshop's shareholders was 7.2%, compared with 7.5% in the prior period. Net income attributable to Vipshop's shareholders per diluted ADS was RMB 3.49, compared with RMB 3.75 in the prior period. Non-GAAP net income attributable to Vipshop's shareholders was RMB 2.2 billion, compared with RMB 2.4 billion in the prior period. Non-GAAP net margin attributable to Vipshop's shareholders was 8.1%, compared with 8.6% in the prior period. Non-GAAP net income attributable to Vipshop's shareholders per diluted ADS was RMB 3.91, compared with RMB 4.30 in the prior period. As of June 30, 2024, the company had cash and cash equivalents and restricted cash of RMB 21.6 billion and short-term investments of RMB 1.9 billion. Looking forward to the third quarter of 2024, we expect our total net revenue to be between RMB 20.5 billion and RMB 21.6 billion, representing a year-over-year decrease of approximately 10% to 5%. Please note that this forecast reflects our current and preliminary view of the market and operational conditions, which is subject to change. With that, I would now like to open the call to Q&A.
Thank you, dear participants. As a reminder, if you wish to ask a question, please press star 11 on your telephone keypad and wait for your name to be announced. To withdraw a question, please press star 11 again. Dear analysts who are proficient in both languages, translate your question into Chinese as well. Thank you so much for your understanding. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. This will take a few moments. And now we're going to take our first question. And it comes from the line of Thomas Chong from Jefferies. Your line is open. Please ask a question.
晚上好谢谢管理层接受我的提问我有两个问题第一个呢是管理层可以分享一下我们现在看到宏观的一个情况就是对消费的情绪的影响管理层可不可以分享一下就是我们看现在看到7月份8月到现在的 GMV 的一个趋势还有就是全年我们对 GMV 的预期然后我第二个问题呢是关于行业的竞争格局的可以分享一下就是apparel 跟standardized category 的那个发展的一个趋势嘛然后从 GMV 的增速未来可以分享一下我们的看法Thanks management for taking my question. My first question is about the consumer sentiment in macro uncertainties. Any color that can be shared about the monthly GMV trend, our expectations for the full year? And my second question is about the competitive environment. Can management comment about how we should think about the apparel and the standardized category? And how is the GMV growth for these two categories quarter to date? And any color about the contribution about the apparel category right now? Thank you.
我回答一下，第一个问题就是问整体的大环境那么我们自己看到最近的消费其实整体算低迷的，那么总体的消费者情绪呢，就是说对整体的购物等于他们觉得就是要买少而精，而不是像当年这么随便买。所以说总体我们看到这个大环境一般那么另外刚刚问的那个分析师问的就是我们从7月到8月，我们总体看到这个情况还是继续延续就是7月8月我们看到总体的消费者这个反应跟我们看到的4、5、6的其实差不了很多，基本是差不多在延续。那么第二个呢，就是我们看就是在未来，就是说关于我们的整个生意，因为我们的生意呢有分穿戴和标品，那么我们自己看到，比如说最近那个 Q2、Q3，其实我们自己在穿戴上面我们跌幅不大，因为穿戴还是我们的强项跌幅不大。但是呢，我们在标品上面跌的比较多，因为我们估计这里面有很多是竞争的原因，就是因为在标品上面大家比价补贴等等，那么因为我们自己没进行补贴，所以说其实削弱了我们的标品的竞争优势，所以我们在接下来的 Q3、Q4 我们会想办法在那个穿戴还是持续发展，包括稳住我们的 SVIP 的基本盘。那么另外呢，我们想办法让标品让我们的 SVIP 买，那么包括让非 SVIP 买，重新我们想办法在标品上面就是跌幅不要这么大，再把标品等于从原来的跌幅比较大，那么我们把它尽量把它搬回来。
Okay, in terms of your question on the macro environment, we see that consumption continues to be quite muted due to macro uncertainties. We don't know whether the consumption momentum is going to be sustainable, and as consumers are being quite cautious, discerning, and selective, we feel that it's quite uncertain going forward. Quarter to date, we see such trend continues, and that's why we see GMV growth quarter to date is pretty comparable to what we have seen in Q2, not too much improvement from the prior quarter. On the second question, in terms of apparel and the non-apparel trends, we continue to see apparel outperforming non-apparel categories. Quarter to date, we only see slight decrease in terms of GMV in apparel categories versus a larger decrease in non-apparel categories. This is pretty much due to heightened industry competition, with everybody is looking at price comparisons and offering subsidies. which we don't actually follow, we choose not to follow at all costs. That to some extent makes our standardized items more susceptible to competition. In the second half, we plan to continue to stabilize our competitive edges with apparel categories. Especially, we're going to continue to grow our SVIP customers and improve their frequency and average ticket size. And on the other hand, we're making a series of adjustments as to standardized items. So we're trying to narrow its loss, and we try to bring this business segment back to flattish at least. We plan to leverage our SVIP members to increase their cross-category purchases, as well as increase the intention from non-SVIP customers as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to take our next question. And the question comes to the line of Alicia Yap from Citi. Your line is open. Please ask your question.
Hello, thank you. 管理层晚上好，谢谢。有两个问题这个首先想请问一下，就是刚刚我们有说到这个 made for 就是唯品会的特制品牌，现在就是大概我们这个特制品牌有多少 SKU， 然后在这个季度占比 GMV 大概多少，然后这个售价还有这个利润率是不是比较高如果可以分享多一点这个信息哈。然后第二个问题呢其实是想就是多了解一下，就是这个 SVIP 会员，我们知道他们的这个粘性是比较高，但是不知道管理层有没有就是观察到他们这个 SVIP 的这个行为最近是不是也有一些变化，比如说他们会不会也在寻找就是比较就是优惠价格比较低的一些产品，或者是他们的这个购买频率其实以前会有略低了哈，我自己翻译一下。Thanks management for taking my questions. I have two questions. First is that just wondering if management can share some of the operating metrics for the made for VIP, the customized products, in terms of the numbers of SKU under these customized products, and how much of that is actually contributing to this quarter GMV, and also the ASP and the margins is higher than non-customized product. And then the second question is just wondering, because I know that the SVIP members should be remaining very sticky and resilient, just wonder if management have also observed any change of their behavior recently. For example, are these SVIP member also looking for more lower ASP, those value for money products, or they are actually buying slightly less frequent than before? Thank you.
我回答一下第一个问题，就关于那个特制商品因为我们整个网站上，如果说穿戴类我们卖出去大概有 40% 以上，我们是属于叫跟别人不一样的商品。这里面呢有一些是品牌专门给我们定做的，那么还有一些呢就是我们那个品牌专门给我们分货的，就是说其实有些品牌它给不同的平台嘛，但是呢专门给我们一盘货。那么另外呢还有一些是低折扣的商品，因为本来我们是做低折扣出身的嘛，所以说比如说这种3折以下的或者低折扣的基本我们都拿掉，所以说总体是这样子，就是说整体这个就是说不同的货品我们穿戴的销售超过 40%。 那么这里面呢就是说我们其实在接下来还会继续坚持，因为我们要求的是还是知名品牌嘛，那么有更多的好东西，那么更多的折扣。另外呢就是说我们也尽量希望 大家卖的货不一样。那么这样的话呢，避免这种叫恶性竞争啊。那么我们说的就是我们在这里面还会继续加强，因为我们说唯品会是做特卖，就是好货低价，那么这是我们不变的，所以说后续我们在这个方面还会积极做大做深。那么第二方面呢，就是问 SVIP 啊，就是说我们 SVIP 这个盘子还是基本比较稳，但是呢，今年我们会发现像用户的客单，就是说客单价其实没有变，那么唯独在购物频次上面有个很小的跌幅啊，可能跌个2个点到3个点，所以说总体而言呢，我们觉得可控，就是它的比如说一个季度的购物频次，从随便说啊，可能从15单变成可能14.5单，只是一个微小的变化，所以说我们倒不觉得特别变化。另外呢，我们其实今年在 Q2、Q3 我们还会持续加大我们的 SVIP 的占比，那么我们会把更多的非 SVIP 转化成 SVIP， 因为我们认为像我们的 SVIP 的服务非常好，那么包括我们也给它精选，那么我们整个网站也不卖这种乱七八糟的东西，所以总体而言呢，我们认为把 SVIP 牢牢的巩固住还是我们以后一个长期的策略。那么哪怕因为 SVIP 其实多了以后啊，会提高我们的退聚率啊，因为 SVIP 买多退多嘛，但是呢，我们认为总体换算下来还是值得的，因为我们的 SVIP 的消费的 up 比非 SVIP 消费很多，那个整体的 up 要大很多，所以总体而言呢，我们从目前的 SVIP 盘基本还稳，那么我们希望是继续加大扩大。
In terms of customized products, actually it's part of our unique offerings on our platform. Within apparel categories, we have over 40% unique offerings, including customized products, exclusive access to brand inventory, and deep discounted products like those SKUs with 70% of retail price. So it's a combination of the great merchandise at great prices that we offer to our customers. Going forward, we will continue to deepen our differentiated product offerings to avoid direct competition with our peers. On the second question regarding SVIP customer traction, actually we see we have a very solid foundation of SVIP customers whose average ticket size remains quite stable, but we do see their shopping frequency has been a little slightly less than before, roughly 2 to 3% as compared to the time they used to shop on our platform. We think these frequency, although under pressure, is quite manageable. We don't see a very significant change in the behavior of SVIP customers. And we do see a lot of potential of growing our SVIP customer base in the coming quarters, especially leveraging our service capabilities, leveraging their trust on our platform, because we will focus on quality branded offerings instead of and stay away from cheap knockoffs. So that's why we are confident that we will continue to grow the base of SVIP customers as well as their ARPU. Admittedly, with higher SVIP contribution, we will see return rates tick up a little bit, but mathematically it's very attractive. We do have very attractive returns in terms of LTV, because in terms of ARPU, they spend much more as compared to a non-SVIP customer.
Thank you. Now we're going to take our next question. And the next question comes from the line of Andrea Chang from JP Morgan. Your line is open. Please ask your question.
管理层晚上好，那我这边有2个问题请教。第一个就是关于这个我们接下来怎么考虑这个投资跟这个我们的 margin。我们如果根据这个3季度现在看起来这个预估可能会下滑5到10个点的营收，那这表示说公司可能还是倾向于更谨慎的使用手上的这个财务资源，可能就不会刻意的去降价或是激进的获客，然后还是专注在这个用我们的这个货盘去吸引这个比较自然的这个客户回流跟交易。对，那是不是这个 margin 这样子来说的话，那跟这个2季度比，因为跟这个过去几个季度有一定的这个 normalization 嘛，就可能正常化了一些。那我们要怎么想这个下半年的 margin？ 对，那另外一个问题就是说，那叠加上这个财务的投资啊，我注意到2季度这边的这个营运现金流，变成一个比较就是一个流出啊，就以我们这个获利来说比较少见，能不能请管理层 comment 一下，就说这个现金流的外流是为什么？那让我翻译一下我的问题。Thank you management for taking my question. My first question is about margin and the investments. Judging from this 5% to 10% year-on-year decline of third quarter revenue, does that mean the company will remain highly disciplined on investment of marketing user acquisition? So the third quarter, second half margin will remain supported. Considering there's no normalization of margin in the second quarter versus the previous few quarters, how should we think about the margin trend in third quarter and the second half? And my second question is about the operating cash flow. Despite very decent profit, we see no operating cash outflow in the second quarter, which is rare. Can management highlight what's the reason behind it? Thank you.
对，我回答第一个问题啊，就是关于整个公司对未来的这个发展的资金分配啊，就是说我们其实整体啊，就是说还是会积极获客，只是呢，我们公司有一个严格的标准，就 LTV 评估的标准，就是到了这个点我们就停了，就是说不再，就是说因为我们觉得花过来的，就是说新客带回来的话太贵了。几年都回不了本，所以说我们就停。但是呢，我们目前这个策略已经比去年的策略已经那个尺度更大了一些，因为我们觉得现在环境不好，我们还是要加大获客，但是呢会有个度，所以说今年呢我们也会积极去寻找更多的获新客渠道，对吧？包括跟很多平台合作等等啊，就是说获更多的渠道，但是我们还是坚持这个度，就是说如果超过我们的标准，那我们就不投。所以说总体而言呢，我们市场费用我们估计今年下半年就因为我们没看到一些很好的渠道，就如果有好的渠道，其实它成本都是可控的，所以总体而言呢，市场费用我们也不会太大。那么另外呢，就是我们其实在前端的毛利方面，我们其实都比较稳。那么我们其实现在整体的环境啊，就是外面的其实电商的竞争环境，包括品牌的那个整体的环境也很差，包括外面的收费也很多，包括流量费，另外呢各种各样的什么那个退货险啊等等，其实费用很高。但是呢，我们做到今年我们不调，就是说也不会提高，就是我们还是保持我们这一口价，我们避免给我们的品牌更大负担。那么另外呢，我们有可能会在那个物流费用上可能会比原来的正常会高一些，因为我们现在整体的退货率会比原来高嘛，那就变成这个物流操作费用会高一些。所以整体呢，其实我们整个投资还是比较稳健的，我们预计在今年下半年，而且呢，我们也是有这个原则，就是说，因为我们现在的那个增长是负增长嘛，就是说我们不能说今天我们碰到这个负增长，我们瞎搞一通，结果呢把利润也搞没了。所以说总体而言呢，我们总体还是比较稳健的。我们自己预估 Q3 到 Q4 利润我们会没有去年这么好啊，但是呢我们认为也不差，肯定是一个很稳健的状态。所以这是我回答的 第一个问题。第二个问题呢，Mark 来回答。
Okay, first let me translate Eric's comments in terms of a question on investment. We continue to proactively acquire customers, and we have to some extent relaxed our thresholds as to LTV in terms of customer acquisition. So we are prudently investing in new channels. But we continue to be quite disciplined. We continue to evaluate the effectiveness and the efficiency of customer acquisition from different perspectives. After all, we haven't found a very good channel for us to acquire customers, so we will remain disciplined in terms of marketing spend for the second half. Margin-wise, on the GP margin side, we are confident it's going to remain quite stable, and because brand partners are under a lot of pressures nowadays, they have to bid for invest additional dollars for traffic and for returns of goods, etc. But our philosophy of working with brand partners is always to create a win-win situation. So we are not going to increase our take rate for brand partners. We don't want to create additional burdens for them. So GP margin will remain quite stable. And on the expense side, we do foresee a little bit higher fulfillment expenses with the return rates still going slightly higher. So we probably don't see too much operating leverage from fulfillment. Overall, we believe that in the second half, we will continue with our prudent investments. So margins and net profit in absolute dollar amount will be quite manageable as compared to last year. Although net profit may not be as good as the second half of last year, it should be quite comparable.
Okay. For the second question regarding the operating cash flow, let me answer your question. Okay. The net cash from operating activities for the second quarter decreased, primarily due to the following reasons. The first one is the revenue decline year over year. Okay. And the second reason is this year, 618 promotion, the shopping festival, started in the middle of May. So which means we need to pay the related costs and expenses to our suppliers in June instead of July. And the third reason is the State Administration of Taxation advocates the implementation of fully digitalized e-Fapiao system this year, and which means the recipient of Fapiao is a little bit earlier. So in this connection, we pay our supplier a little bit faster than that in last year. So this is three main reasons for the operating cash flows change.
Excuse me, Andrea, any further questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to take our next question. And the next question comes from the line of Ronald Kong from Goldman Sachs. Your line is open. Please ask your question.
谢谢沈总 Mark。那想问两个，第一就是这个我们 GMV 和 Revenue 中间可能差了5个点左右，所以想听一下我们这个 Return Rate 是不是这个退货率是不是提高了？那同时间我看到那个订单量是下降，但 GMV 是 flat， 能不能够理解是大家买的这个单票反而 AOV 是提高？这个就跟好像宏观环境有一点不一样，是不是大家可能买多一些维持这个单价，但是最后退多一些，那所以我们这个单量是降 GMV 是 flat， 然后退货率感觉是提高。 第二呢，就想问一下我们这个科技的 technology and content 这一块，可能是我们专项费用里边唯一就提高的，所以想知道我们投入在哪儿，然后现在收入可能有一些压力的情况下，这块是不是有一些降本增效的空间？那让我翻译一下。Thank you, management. I have two questions. One is I see that the GMV and revenue has a gap, so that the return rate has gone up. When I see the order volume, it has gone down while GMV has been flat. So thinking about these relationships, is it fair to say people are buying still buying a bit more despite the macro environment to get the free delivery and then return more of the items? Is that some of the dynamics that we're seeing? Second is I see the technology and content cost has gone up versus the kind of muted revenue. So where are we investing in technology? Do we see some room to streamline or cut some of these costs given the kind of headwinds on the revenue side? Thank you.
我回答第一个问题，就是我们看到，就是说，其实我们现在的退货率啊，就是我们去年受退货率的影响比较大，今年的退货率的影响比去年少。那比如说啊，大概如果财报上看啊，大概是比如说去年我们影响3个点吧，就是退货率高了会影响财报的收入3个点，今年可能是2个点，就跌2个点。那么另外我们看到其实那个单量是下降，但是我看到客户的客单件单其实没什么变化，所以总体而言呢，这里是没看到用户说，因为我们这些数都是退句后的啊，所以总体而言呢，我们看到就买的东西没有说便宜，那么东西的价值其实差不多，只是买的会少了一些。那么这是第一个。第二个呢，就是问技术这块啊，我们这块呢，其实技术这块呢，我们从去年开始，我们投了蛮多在大模型这块。那么大模型这块除了人才，还有就是要服务器、买卡等等啊，我们也花了不少钱。但这块的话呢，就是说，因为这个是一个长期持续渐进的过程，所以说呢，我们认为其实毕竟我们上面有这么多的用户，那么这么多的数据，那么包括这么多可改进的，用大模型来改进、追踪等等的，那么我们认为还是有价值的。所以说最近我们也没有减这方面的投入，那么就是持续让他们发生，因为毕竟看到这个整体的技术费用占比会高，但是呢，就是说不是高很多，我们认为希望未来给我们带来价值，所以说我们这块呢就持续投入。
In terms of your question on GMV and the revenue gap, it's a result of the return rate. A return rate actually is trending a little bit higher, but has moderated a lot from the growth of last year. It's translated into impact on revenue. Last year we had 2% impact on revenue from return rate versus 3% versus 2% for this year. So return rate has been managed relatively well and has started to stabilize on our platform. In terms of average order size versus the total number of orders, we actually don't see too much change with average order size, as consumers are still sticking to the brands they prefer. So they don't intentionally buy cheaper. They're just buying slightly less as compared to before, because they are becoming more selective and a little bit discerning, especially when they want to choose when and where to shop. So we don't see too much change in terms of consumer behavior, especially the SVIP customers. And the second question regarding technology and content investments, since last year we have made meaningful investments in large models, including talent, servers, etc. We will continue to invest on this front because we believe technology enhancement is very important to driving long-term value, especially given our large scale of customers and data. We do see a lot of room for improvement. We believe a prudent investment in technology and content will be value accretive over the long term. As a percentage of total revenue, technology and content is going to be a little bit higher, but not too much, and it's totally manageable.
好，谢谢王女士。
Thank you. Now we're going to take our last question for today. And the question comes to the line of Jialong Shi from Nomura. Your line is open. Please ask your question.
谢谢管理层接受我的提问。我有两个问题。第一个问题就是，我们最近就是有听到一些渠道讲说，就是从今年年中以来，一些电商平台好像是降低了对于这个低价一些品类，包括服饰品类的这个低价的这个要求，所以就是想请教一下，就是作为唯品会是这个服饰这个品类里面一个非常重要的一个这个渠道，那么咱们有没有看到就是说友商在这个服饰的这个低价这方面有没有一些松动？那么这个对于我们这个影响如果有松动的话，这个对于我们今年下半年的这个影响会是怎么样的？然后第二个问题就是follow up 两个 follow up， 一个就是这个我们现在的这个我们的现在的这个收入和这个gross profit 毛利里面来自于标品这个品类的占比大概分别是多少？然后第二个这个 follow up 就是 SVIP 目前的这个数量，还有它的这个 GMV 的这个贡献占比大概是多少？谢谢，我自己翻译一下。I have two questions, and one question is about our hearsay from our industry checks. We heard from some channel check that some major Chinese e-commerce platforms appear to have loosened the requirement on low prices for certain categories, including apparel category. So just wonder if Vips has seen any changes in the operating environment, and if there is a loosening on low prices by competitors, what are the possible impacts on Vips' second half outlook? And my second question is a follow-up, and just wonder what is the percentage of sales and the gross profit generated by the standardized items, and also what is the latest quarterly number of SVIP customers and their contribution to the online GMV? Thank you.
那么第一个问题是问整体现在那个低价的情况啊。那么总体我们看今年开始，因为确实整体的环境都不好嘛，所以说各个平台其实都在搞低价。那么我们最近看那个情况还是持续的，就是说大家还是搞低价。另外呢，促销活动接二连三做，那么各个平台尽可能的低。那么所以说我们总体看到未来应该还是这样的情况。那对我们来讲呢，我们其实整体因为我们是搞知名品牌，那么我们是搞知名品牌低价，那么所以说我们是希望那么尽可能的提供好东西给用户，而不是差东西啊。那么包括我们自己，其实今年我们在网站上还清了很多不靠谱的品牌商家等等啊。所以说理论上呢，我们认为不是追求生意，但是呢我们追求用户买到以后觉得有价值。那么所以说我们自己认为后续我们如何的更好发挥我们的品牌特卖的优势，那么在就是说接下来因为这个竞争还会持续啊，所以说我们其实要想办法做得更好。那么第二点呢，就是问关于那个标品跟非标品的毛利情况啊。那么总体而言呢，就是我们其实标品跟就是穿戴的毛利会高过标品，但是呢就是说我们如果看净利的话，因为标品的退去率比较低嘛，所以说总体而言，那么就是说其实标品给我们公司的利润贡献也不错，所以说我们今年也在想，今年就是说 目前我们标品丢的多，穿戴丢的少，那么我们争取在标品上面再发力，把生意再夺一些回来。那么这样的话呢，就是对我们的利润反正也是好事情。那么第三个呢，就是问现在的我们的 SVIP 现在规模是740万，那么我们这些用户，因为我们整个年度用户可能8、9千万，但是这740万的用户呢，一年会贡献47%的销售额。
Okay, in terms of your first question on low price strategy, we continue to see low price competition going on within the industry. There are a lot of promotion subsidies, and we will continue to see that momentum going forward. But for Vipshop, we continue to focus on quality brand merchandise, and we try to offer our customers with good products at great prices. We are not chasing for business scale. We focus on delivering value to our customers, and we'll continue with that strategy. And in addition, on the quality side, we focus on building a trusted portfolio of brands to our customers. Actually, starting from this year, we cleaned up quite a lot of merchants or brand partners with low quality product offerings. So we only focus on those quality brands and focus on quality products. On the second question regarding GP margin for apparel and non-apparel, apparel carry a little bit higher GP margin than non-apparel categories. But to the bottom line, actually, because standardized items have much lower return rates, so they have pretty good contribution flowing to the bottom line. In the second half, we'll try to bring the business of standardized items back to growth track so that they can have positive impact on the NP margin as well. Lastly, on SVIP customer base, we have 7.4 million active Super VIP customers by the end of second quarter. They accounted for roughly 47% of our online spending.
Thank you. Due to time constraints, this concludes today's Q&A session. At this time, I will turn the conference back to Jessie for any closing remarks.
Thank you for taking the time to join us today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact our IR team. We look forward to speaking with you next quarter.
This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now all disconnect. Have a nice day.